an article in the May 11th Los Angeles Times entitled, "Can Nancy Pelosi Ride a Wave of Trump Resistance Back to the White House Majority and Speakership?" So the article talks about how Nancy Pelosi's like, usually after a loss, your phone doesn't ring, but because of Trump, my phone's ringing, and everyone wants to resist. And, what can I do to help? And all this other stuff. And this is like, as I've talked about, everybody wanting to get involved after the election and like, I got to do something. That overall, that's a good thing. That's a silver lining out of the Trump election. But the problem and the thing I'm trying to do, and Jimmy Dore and many others, Secular Talk, Humanist Report, our Sane Progressive, we're trying to say, like, just going to the Democratic Party, especially establishment Democrats like Pelosi, is a mistake, because she's against single-payer health care. She's part of the Democratic Party that rigged the primary. So she's an establishment corporate Democrat. Her, Pelosi, Howard Dean, Perez, Chuck Schumer, they're all part of the problem. Now, they're talking this big resistance game, but we got to hold them accountable. I mean, as I talked about, Dianne Feinstein's all, she's in California, and I'm going to fight for you, and I'm an old liberal, and I'm going to do this. And she gets on a yacht with a bunch of healthcare people. So it's like, this. And the problem with this article, and again, just because I quote the LA Times doesn't mean they're, they've made a lot of mistakes, and they're probably up there just like the New York Times is a big corporate paper that, does some good journalism about 15-20% of the time, maybe 25%. So and basically what the article talks about, and this is a thing, when the Democrats elected her behind closed doors to stay in this position of power, they did it because, she's good at fundraising. And I even had friends of mine who were on the left going, yeah, she's good at fundraising. And it's like, Hillary outfunded and outspent Trump 2-1 and lost. Okay? She lost. So the funding thing doesn't necessarily equal wins. And the fact that Pelosi, people are coming to her like, help with the resistance, shows you why the Democrats, they don't need to win. Both parties don't care about winning. They just care about maintaining their power. She's maintaining her power. The Democrats got crushed in the election, and then the Democratic behind closed doors elected her again to be the minority, Senate minority leader. Like, it's unbelievable. And this is it's so there's someone running against her. So she is, because I think she needs to get voted out. They need to primary her. Because if you watch the town hall, she's not for single payer because she gets money from the health industry. She from big pharmaceutical and all that. She's one of those pro-war Democrats. She's pro-banking, pro-war, and because she has offices in San Francisco, and the Republicans hate her. It's just more of the pro-wrestling aspect of the two-party system. The Republicans can say, she's the bad guy, and all the fans of the Republican wrestler, Pelosi's bad, and all the fans of the Pelosi wrestler go, the GOP and Trump, resist. But she has resistance, all right? And this is Stephen Jaffe, who's a Sanders supporter, who is launching an uphill primary challenge, uphill, of course it is, according to the LA Times, against Pelosi in her home district. His website proclaims, "We are all socialists." Nancy Pelosi is out of step with Democratic voters, especially in San Francisco, which is very accurate. And so this is the thing. If you're in her district, man, I'd look into this Stephen Jaffe guy, who's a Sanders supporter, and get behind this guy to vote her out, because we need real progressives. I don't care This isn't my thing about Nancy Pelosi is not ageism. It's not sexism. We need progressive. She is a corporate establishment Democrat. She is not a good liberal progressive. She's not a real one. Find a progressive. It doesn't matter. If they're, as I've said, I don't care what the progressive looks like, what their age or demographic is. I don't care. If it's Bernie Sanders, if it's Nina Turner, if it's Tulsi Gabbard, if it's the Stephen Jaffe guy, I don't care. Find real progressives, man, and get behind them and vote her out. And anyone on the left who's like, oh, we need Pelosi, she's going to fight. No, she hasn't. And do some research and find her record of all of the crap. Find that video that was on the Jimmy Dore show of her saying she just backpedals about single payer. What is there to backpedal about? Single payer. Stand up and fight for that. You know, they're just fighting to keep the Obamacare, which, as I've said, was Romney care. It's a Republican healthcare system. So, you know, here's a quote from her. You're telling me I'm not a liberal? I'm from San Francisco, she says with a laugh, incredulous. But I respect it so much. And I thrive on it. And I like the idea that they're relentless, persistent, and dissatisfied. Because that's what democracy is about. Just platitudes. More of her fucking platitude bullshit. It's not necessarily orderly kind or a predictable thing. Supporters warn it's best not to bet against Pelosi. Nothing in the last time, noting that the last time she was in this role in 2005 as the minority leader of a Republican president, she engineered a takeover to become House Speaker. Yeah. So this is the thing we've talked about. John Boehner, the Tea Party, got John Boehner out of there in 2015 because he wasn't playing their tune. So this is the thing. I've done videos on this. We need to take the Tea Party's model. The Tea Party went after Republicans that weren't in line with the Tea Party's, you know, crazy right-wing nonsense. But so we need to do that strategy. Democrats that aren't actual progressives, vote them the fuck out of there. They start getting voted out, you better believe the Democratic Party is going to wake the fuck up. Or get a real third-party candidate in there. Get some money behind them. I don't know what, but like something. We can't keep having the Pelosis of the world. It's just awful. And they don't get it. You know, I'm not liberal. I live in San Francisco. Look, man, if you live in San Francisco has got the highest rents and mortgages and real estate values. It's become the most expensive city on the planet. Like, come on. It's just ridiculous. You're not, don't give me this hippie San Francisco shit anymore. Like, and if you're getting big corporate money, you're just, as I've said, the Democratic Party is fucking Goldman Sachs with a rainbow flag. You know, that's the only difference, is like pro-choice and gay marriage. But everything else, we're all for war. We're all for fucking bailing out the banks and not prosecuting any of them. We're all for big pharmaceutical. We're against single payer. We're against $15 an hour. We say we are, but then they make bullshit concessions. Like, their Twitter feeds are all just like fucking bumper stickers, you know? She's probably got a coexist sticker on her Cadillac Escalade or some shit, but it's probably a hybrid Cadillac Escalade. So wow, that's how much of a hippie San Franciscoan she is. Like, she's the worst, man. Vote her the fuck out. You know? Vote them out. Across the board. Get some new progressives in there. I don't care. I don't care with their age, their ethnicity. I just want their ideas and their policy and their past voting record and what they've stood up for. Show me one that hasn't buckled any time. We need to stop going to the center and the right. We need to go more to the left, because a left, progressive, populist platform will resonate with the whole country, the middle of the country that voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump. The working class people, we need to take care of them. As I said, FDR wrote a letter in 1940. He was getting ready for his third election, which he won, and wrote a letter to the Democratic Party ahead of the convention and said, don't go to the center. Don't abandon the New Deal. Don't abandon progressive left-wing populist policy. Don't abandon it. Just because they're clamoring on the right. Don't abandon this at all. And what did they do? They abandoned, they got rid of Henry Wallace and then, you know. So don't abandon this. Don't Don't buckle. Now more than ever, be tough. That's always been the problem with progressives, is we're fucking, oh, well, we gotta all get along. And I see your point. I see your point, but single payer healthcare is, without it, it's anything that is without it is bullshit. Just don't fucking back down from it. Just say no. No, I'm not backing down. This is what we want. Thank you for watching the show. Like and subscribe. Hit the Patreon. You guys are awesome. Make Gotham great again.